This is the very first unit out of the Tieton Cabin Company, and today I got a special treat. I'm going across town to the factory to get a behind the scenes look at how it was actually made. Here we go. We've got lights. Let's do it. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Oh, hey Jeb.
Sorry.
That's okay. Can we open these in like a really dramatic fashion type way to start the video?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the audience likes big time production value. Oh yeah. This is gonna be good. No, the truck's gonna be in the way. There it is. There it is. No, it'll be good. That's perfect. Last month, I spent about 20 hours in Tieton, Washington, checking out a prefab home company that caught my attention with the bold look of their prototype unit called the Agate Pass. I did a full video about their first build and got flooded with comments and questions about how it was built. Luckily, while I was there, their co-founder Jeb let me record behind the curtain and really broke down how they're built and what sets them apart. All right, I'm here with Jeb, the founder of Tieton Cabin Company, and he's kind of showing me around the factory here. And has decided to sit down for a couple questions. I have a feeling it's probably a long list and you don't have to go into every single thing, but what would you say are the biggest things that set apart a Tieton Cabin from some of the other options in the space?
Yeah, so the biggest difference I would say is fundamentally we're a house, and because we're building code compliant versus a trailer decked model, you can finance our product like a regular house. It meets all the building code requirements. That's probably the number one sort of differentiator. And then the second is that we make our assemblies out of CLT, cross-laminated timber. And the reason we do that is because we think it's the most durable product from a structural strength, fire resistance, long-term lifespan. And we also wanted a cabin that was wood inside, so no drywall. I think that's a big differentiator. Even though our cabins are, very modern in their kind of styling, it still feels like a cabin. And I hope when you go over there and see this one in person tonight, you'll get that sort of feeling of sort of glowing warm wood.
Jeb listed 3 things that set their homes apart from some of the others in the space, and I'm going to go through all of them with behind the scenes examples showing exactly what he's talking about. Number 1, their homes are IBC compliant, meaning they're built to the International Building Code. Strictly by size, these could be considered a tiny home, but they're not a tiny home on wheels, which is what a lot of people think of when they hear the term. The units from Tieton are built to be put on a permanent foundation.
And then I think the other thing to understand about our foundation system is that we have this steel foot and beam system, which we call the dog legs because they roughly look like a dachshund.
Okay.
And we can make these legs different heights. So if you have a slope site and you need a longer leg for sticking out, we just make you a different leg socket that slips on there.
Okay.
And then these we're quite high up in the factory here right now because we're doing a lot of work under with plumbing and electrical and such. But normally this would sit down, basically you can put that foot all the way down on the ground level.
And that goes right on to
basically a pier block. So you do a cast in place concrete foot that is 4 feet by 4 feet by about 12 inches thick. I mean, it depends a little bit on your soil's condition, but by and large, that works in most cases. And then there's just 4 anchor bolts in each one of those 4 piers. And so if your piers are, uneven heights, we can make a steel leg that fits in there height-wise, so it's all level, of course.
Okay.
And then we're about to build a unit that has a much larger deck, and in that case, it's cantilevered beyond the foundation. So basically, we can just vary the depth of this side panel and vary the depth of this deck to accommodate, a deeper deck.
Number 2, they're built using cross-laminated timber. According to the Engineered Wood Association, cross-laminated timber is very strong with superior acoustic, fire, seismic, and thermal performance. That's super, but a lot of people might not have an understanding of what it actually is we're talking about here.
One of the hallmarks of our product line, Carrie, is that we make everything out of cross-laminated timber, and there's a chunk of it right here. So cross-laminated timber is 3 layers of 2x6s that are squished together in a giant press in a factory. And so our framing package is simply 4 pieces. It's a floor, 2 walls, and a roof. And so we get our delivery from Mercer Mass Timber in Spokane, Washington. Stepping over to this kind of mock-up of our assemblies, you can see how the CLT then becomes the interior finish too. So even though our cabins, we'll call them sort of architecturally modern, we still want them to be a cabin. And so we asked ourselves, like, hey, what is the wall assembly that we could do that wouldn't have any drywall on the inside? And so if we did a regular stick framed assembly and then had to layer yet another layer of wood on the interior, cut and fit that, we said, hey, wait a second, we can kind of mush all those processes into one assembly, which is CLT. Okay. And we get R5 out of the wood assembly itself, super quiet, super airtight. And then everybody says, okay, great, you got this big thick wall. What do you do with plumbing? What do you do with electrical? What do you do with insulation? So this is kind of a pig in a blanket assembly, which is that these clips and hat channels are outboard of the CLT, and then they create this cavity that's on both of our sides. Maybe I'll move to this side because you can probably see here too, is that our insulation is a continuous blanket around that, and then our siding gets attached to this hat channel system and these furring pieces that keep our windows outboard, so we have the full insulated assembly around it. And this rain screen fabric there allows for water vapor to dissipate inside the cavity, so you don't get that mold inside the cavity. So all of our assembly parts within this cavity are damp proof. The galvanized hat channel, the fiberglass, the rock wool, which is spun basalt, which doesn't degrade in R value if it gets damp. And so we know, you can't fight physics. Right. You've got a dew point in there somewhere, and in the summer it's in one place, and in the winter it's another place. So this sort of rain screen assembly, outboard insulation, we believe is the best possible energy envelope for the most extreme environments.
Okay, and so what happens if you want to take it to somewhere that has, say, a higher snow load requirement?
Yeah, so this is our standard 3-ply, which can go up to about 50 pounds of snow load, and then we can get a 5-ply CLT, which takes up to 425 pounds of snow load. So that's, what do we figure, is like 67 tons of snow on top of it. And as you know, Tahoe was tested by that in recent years. Right. And we live in a place in the Pacific Northwest with pretty damp snow. So yeah, I mean, our cabins are designed for harsh environments. That's one of our focuses. And harsh, heavy snow loads in a seismically active area of the world.
If you're sitting there thinking, if the CLT is solid, where do they run electrical and plumbing? It's a fair question.
I think this is a good way to illustrate how we handle our electrical and plumbing. Again, with 4 inches of wood, you want to have stuff that's accessible. So this is the kitchen area, but it also serves as a raceway. We make this channel right here to handle all of our electrical, and then the plumbing is in a little channel behind the cabinetry. So if you were ever able to, have to repair any plumbing or electrical, it's all right there accessible. And then if you look at this closet here, this is kind of the hardworking plumbing and electrical mechanical closet, which holds everything. And this just has a door on it, as you'll see in the finished cabin.
If you ever find yourself in or around Tieton, it is a really cool town, and I would suggest checking it out. Schedule a tour with the Cabin Co. or stop by Shorthead Brewing and tell them Carrie sent you. They'll say, who's that? That officially concludes my time in Tieton, for now anyway. Hope you enjoyed the videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.